Alrighty, this right here is the one that I was looking at. But if you look down here, can you see it good?
Yeah, kinda. It's got a bright light in it. Probably coming through the window. Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, there you can see it better.
Alright. This right here would be how big it is. I think it was like 16 inches like it is. And that's not what this sewed. So it's going to be smaller. Okay? So now let's go back over here to the book. And then we have this one, which I would say is a king size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, and then we have this one, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I think I'm going to go with this one because I think it's going to be small enough to make a full size. I'm not for sure, but that's what we're going to work on. Now, I want to look at these right here that we're having to trim down. Now, the thing of it is we do not want to trim right here at it. If you cut this where you had sewed it right here, you have to re-sew it again. So you don't want to cut that off. You want to go just a little bit past it to make sure you don't cut where you have sewed it. I'll get it out in a minute. So there's that one. And now you wouldn't believe this, I'm going to have one. No, I'm going to have two left over. Not one. So I got this one and this one. And that will be it. Alright. Okay, that's the one I'm working on, not that one. Alright. So, we want to start right here at the middle of this so that we can pin it down. And I found that I have pinned a lot of them down, and believe it or not, you just take your time, pin them down, and then sew them down, and then go back in and pin some more down, and that will make it a whole lot better, a whole lot quicker. How does that sound? I'm glad it's working out so far anyway. It is working, and I am glad that it is. I think I'm going to really like this quilt. I love the colors. Oh, the colors are turning out beautiful. Alright. Now, here I am down to the last one here. So what I want to do is I want to line this up. I'm going to put my finger right here. I'm going to pull this one back and lay it down right there. And I'm going to pin it so I'll be able to cut it down. I was looking for something to cut it down with or mark it down with, and I can't. Now when I do this, I'm going to leave just a little tiny bit over. Okay, you see my pen. You see my scissors there. Now the reason why I'm leaving that little bit is so that if I need anything at the top, then I can. I'm lining up the bottom and I'm lining up the top of it. And then I'm cutting it down. It does not show that I cut it down. You see there? It doesn't show that I cut it down. So I'm doing good. I mean, every one of them has been like this. Alright, another thing that I want to bring up is when you're doing these, make sure you have the collars together. Okay? So now, let me... No, it'll be okay, I reckon. Alright, let me get this over here. No, I ain't going to. Alright.
There's 4 inches today.
I got a dog down here. Alright, so if we turn this one around, we're going to have 2 of these colors the same. 2 of these colors the same. Now, if that's the way you want it, that's fine and good. But I'm going to want them different colors. So, when I get this right here sewed down, it's going to be like this right here. Turn it around. The 4 different colors together. Not all of them the same. So I just wanted to pinpoint that down, and when I go to sew it down, hopefully I'll remember and tell you again. But I've been thinking about it, and I wanted to make sure that I tell you what I'm planning on doing, so you'll know. I got a little bit here, and I'm afraid that it might interfere with putting it on. I don't think it's enough to hurt it, but I want, and what I'm doing is taking, and let's see, what can I use? Taking it on the side, and I'm doing it kind of like sideways with it. It's just a little tiny bit. See how slimmery that is? And, okay, let's see what we can do from here. And I am done with all these. Right here. Goes that way. That way. And that way. Now it's time to get that out. And I can't wait. Alrighty. Let's see what I can do about straightening this out and get ready to do it. Alrighty. Let's see what we can do about cutting some of this down to make us some of those. And there we go. I'm going to fold it in half. Line it out. And ooh, I get 4 of them at a time out of it. So what I think I'm going to do is I cut on this side, and I want this as a thing to do. Turn it around. turn you around so you can see what I'm not doing right. Alright. Now. Oh, it still ain't gonna help. I think I messed up there. Let's try it the other way. I know there's something wrong with me. Yeah, it's gonna make it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I don't know. This ain't gonna be right. If I do the other way, let's try it again. Dadgummit, I want to go take me a shower. My shower, I want a shower. I should have done a shower before I started this. But oh no, Sandy wanted to do this first. She is wanting to check it out and put one together or lay it out. So here's 4, I think. Oh, come on. Alright. Let's do another one. There we go. Alright. I can cut some more out in a few minutes. Right now I want to cut these out.
Says this. He says, in fact, what many Americans and probably most Mormons do not know is that Joseph Smith Jr., who would go on to found the Mormon religion, was a direct descendant of one of the accusers at Salem, one Samuel Smith of Boxford, who accused Mary Esty of witchcraft. Now, what we're talking about the Salem witch trials, and we're talking about Joseph Smith's great-grandfather accusing people at the witch trial. And it says another accuser, one John Gold, who accused Sarah Wild, was Samuel Smith's father-in-law. Now, it's time to set the record straight. It really is. It's time to set the record straight. At the Salem witch trials, and this is where the demonic psyop.
Alright, let's see. I only want one. Oh yeah. Ooh, that's gonna look pretty. Rick, look how pretty.
Huh?
Look how pretty.
Oh, that is pretty.
That is pretty.
I like it.
I can't wait to sew it down. Let's see.
No, it's gonna be pretty. Isn't
Yep. Yep. That looks good. Alright, I'm gonna go take me a shower. You're gonna move. You're gonna move. You're gonna move. You're gonna move. Alrighty. Now, these are cool. Can't wait to really get started on them. I can't do any sewing tonight because it's too late to sew. I can't see it. But however, this is what I want to do. I'm going to lay this out here. And I want to mark this end. And this end. I'm going to have to find some tape. I mean, I can see it, but not that good. I'm going to find some tape and put on there. Okay. Alright. Now, here we go with this. Now, I want to take, and I'm going to put a little mark right here. right here. I just want a little mark to know where the middle is. I'm going to find another way to do this because these are going to rub off real quick. Alrighty, let me get the pins. Alright, now I have to decide which way I want it to go, either this way or this way. And then I'm going to go take this one, fold it in half, and get the middle. It'll be right here. And then I'm going to start pinning it down in the middle. And like I said, put them on the sew line. There's a whole, it's pretty good, pretty good. It helps you. There we go. There we go. I can't do nothing till tomorrow, but I can record tonight. Cause Coco Melon ain't on. I got a strike on that video I put up yesterday, day before yesterday, whatever day it was. But there ain't nothing I do about it. I had Coco Melon in the back. So, alright, now let me show you where I'm pinning it at, so you will know. Do it here. Alright. We're taking it on the second block down and the second block down here. And in that way, when we sew it on, and all, but we gotta make sure that we keep these blocks separate. Alrighty. I'm gonna cut some more out and try to do this. I can't wait. This is turning out pretty good. Now I'm gonna make this first block with all of them all the way around it. It's the first block. But now the second one, you'll only put it on 3 of them, 3 sides. And you're gonna wanna hopefully lay it down side by side. To see, okay, and I got that color there, so we want this color here, and then this color here, and I'm not going to want to sew one side of it down. It don't matter which side it is, but I think you can probably get the adjust of it. So when I go to do it tomorrow, you guys will know exactly what I'm trying to do. Alrighty, I'm going to get to cutting and cut some of them out, so I got me a good stack here, and hopefully I can get it. Alright, well, I'm going to wait till tomorrow and cut them out.
Of witchcraft came down. To this day, Puritans are maligned as witch hunters, and I'm anti-witchcraft, by the way. You can call me that. But it was Cotton Mather. And I'll read this from Encyclopedia Britannica. This is from Volume 7, the 15th edition. And under the article of Cotton Mather, it says this: witches, like other criminals, were tried and sentenced to jail or the gallows by civil magistrates. The case against a suspect rested on spectral evidence, testimony of a victim of witchcraft, that he had been attacked by a specter bearing the appearance of someone he knew, which the Mathers distrusted because a witch could assume the form of an innocent person. When this type of evidence was finally thrown out of the court at the insistence of the Mathers and other ministers, the whole affair came to an end. Even in Britannica, which is certainly not a pro-Christian publication, They admit it was the Puritan Cotton Mather and other Puritan ministers that saved many people from the gallows, because Joseph Smith's great-grandfather and his other relatives were wanting to use this spectral evidence to condemn people to die, and they did have innocent people hung. So let's set the record straight. Cotton Mather wanted to free those accused of witchcraft. Joseph Smith's great-grandfather Samuel, he is the one that made the accusation. So how did this witchcraft psyop get turned inside out to where everyone today, to this very day, maligns and ridicules the Puritans as some kind of narrow-minded witch-hunting bigots?
I think it bears really, I mean, this is really important to remember that this is within their repertoire of weapons that they form against believers. And, you know, David, me and you can both vouch to the amount of people who have tried to infiltrate, and constantly, it's a constant thing that happens. And it's pretty amazing that this thing, just something as simple as just accusing people of stuff, constantly accusing, just like Satan, the accuser of the brethren. This is interesting to me. I did not know that about Joseph Smith's lineage. That's very interesting.
Yeah. And it's also interesting that Joseph Smith was born on December 23rd. Now, that might not mean anything, but it might mean there were the true bloodline people. They would ritually impregnate either on Easter or Christmas. So they would either be born on Easter or Christmas. There's 9 months between them. So this is the way they did the ritual impregnation. So there's a lot of evidence here. That ain't the smoking gun, but that's just another little piece here to scratch your head about, to see just how deeply that the Smith family was involved in this sinister stuff here. Have I read statement on here on page 23? Let me see.
I don't think so, David.
Okay, now, here's another statement from Cotton Mather. He said this from his Wonders of the Invisible World. He said, "A prodigious witch meeting, the wretches have proceeded so far as to concert and consult the methods of rooting out the Christian religion from this country, and setting up instead of it perhaps a more diabolism than ever the world saw before."
Alrighty, since everything's messed up, and I want to make sure that I tell you that I cannot use emojis no more. They're not going to let me use, do that. They have most have definitely changed every part of the video editor. So I'm gonna have to fight with that, and I don't know how to fight with that, but we ain't gonna have no more emojis.
And the more you look at it and the more you consider it, Cotton Mather's was spot on. And what we see, basically, this destroyed Puritanism in America. It brought an end to the Puritan movement. And and the rise to Mormonism, which Mormonism is anything but Christian. And what was pretty good was taken out and replaced with something that stinks kind of bad. Now, I'm going to read another statement here from Mr. Levenda's book, and this is on page 19. And this is another one of the misconceptions about the Salem witch trials. And I did a study, and I did a teaching on the Salem witch trials, I don't know, 3 years ago. And I found out a lot of the psyop then, and this time around I've found out a lot more. And it centered around a lady that was named Tituba. And she's usually portrayed in movies and stories about the Salem witch trials as a black African slave girl in the home of this Puritan minister named Paris. And now with the new study, there's a guy by the name of Professor Breslaw who's done a new study, And he says that he doesn't think it even started in the home of this Puritan minister. And instead of being a black African slave girl, Tituba was an Arawak Indian. And that is going to play into our study tonight in the significance of what happened there. Now, I want to read a little bit more. And she was from Guyana. And it's interesting, too, that Guyana, this was the place of the Jonestown Massacre, which was just a little bit of psyop going on there, wasn't there? Now, I want to read some more from Mr. Levenda's book. He says Tituba, in her testimony, Tituba being the Arawak Indian woman who was kind of made the babysitter over children. That was a mistake because she schooled them in occult practices, and we're just going to read what she was told to do. It says, Tituba, in her testimony before the magistrates, began to point a finger at evil outside influences behind the witchcraft covens in Salem. She claimed that the ringleader of the witches was a man in black who lived in Boston, that she and the other Salem witches attended meetings in Boston in spirit form, and that they received their instructions to return to Salem and hurt the children living there. It was about hurting the children, and it was about manipulating them, and it was upon the testimony of children who were testimonying. And I tell you what, this we're going to make the case this was satanic ritual abuse, that these children were so confused and so brainwashed that they were duped into lying by these occult powers and just deceived demonically. Now, it's also interesting. He says the Guyanese, Canaima, would, of course, according to a legend, assume any form, animate or inanimate. So in the context of Arawak magic and witchcraft, the stories about shape-shifting witches and ghostly appearances of one's neighbor in the middle of the night or in a dream were perfectly acceptable. Now, John, this is right in the wheelhouse of what you've been talking about on several midnight rides about the shamans, the shapeshifters, and we here have the, right from where Tituba was, they called it the Canaima, the shape-shifting devil that could assume any form, and this is what Mr. Mathers and Mr. Levenda believes was behind the deception of these children here at Salem. But what does that sound like to you?
And, you know, we were talking about the Prince of Territory, and everybody knows that America, well, not everybody knows that. I guess I shouldn't say that because most people don't know. Actually, I had a friend, David, say that he had somebody listen to our show, but we were talking about things that he had no idea what we meant. We forget that everybody listening isn't up to speed on all the stuff we've been talking about for the past few years. I know a lot of you have been listening for a very long time, but these spirits over these areas and the idea of America literally means, according to Manly P. Hall, means land of the feathered serpent. And it's apparent that all over the United States, there's mounds. In the South America, there's pyramids here. And the scope of the presence of entities and giants is massive here in America. I mean, you can probably not go anywhere else in the world that has the amount of history when it comes to this kind of stuff as in America. And shamanism, the oldest religion in the world that's pagan, and all religions kind of flow from that arena, and shape-shifting is a huge part of that. And that's something that they even the shaman priests are supposedly able to do, at least according to Native Americans.
It absolutely is. And the hill Cumorah, where Joseph Smith found his plate, supposedly, was an Indian mound. Wow. And he was digging the fire out of that Indian mound and a lot of others, looking for some stuff. And I think Joseph knew what he was looking for. Now, let's read just a little more here. This is Mr. Levenda's conclusion, and I agree with it so much. He goes on to say, Many of Tituba's memories, as well as those of her conspirators, were slow in coming, and memory disorders, real or imagined or feigned, were part of the Salem experience. Recovered memories, tortured children, witch covens, a satanic network spanning the Northeast. Welcome to Geraldo Nation.